Today, of course, is Purim, and we often say the Hallel prayer on festivals to thank God, but on Purim we don't. And the reason is given in the Gemara in Arachim by Rav Nachman, and it says, "V'le Rav Nachman ha'abdama kriyata zu hi halila." He says that the reading of the Megillah on Purim is in itself a song of praise in its entirety, and therefore we do not say Hallel. In honor of Purim, I thought it appropriate to tell a small Talmudic tale mentioning two cities which happen to be relevant in our contemporary period. After months of negotiation with the authorities, a famous Talmud scholar from Odessa was finally granted permission to visit Moscow. He got on the train, sat down, and at the next stop a young man got on and sat next to him. The scholar looks at the young man and says, he doesn't look like a regular peasant from the area, so he probably comes from this area. And if he comes from this area, he's probably Jewish because it's a Jewish area. But on the other hand, if he's a Jew, where could he be going? I'm the only Jew in this area who's been given permission to visit Moscow. And then he says, wait, outside Moscow, there's a little village called Samvet, and Jews don't need permission to go and visit Samvet. But why would he be going there? If he's going there, it's obviously to visit one of the only two Jewish families who live in the area, the Steinbergs and the Bernsteins. And he says, and the Bernsteins are a shocking bunch, and this is such a nice looking chap, he must be going to visit the Steinbergs. But if he's going to be the Steinbergs in Samet, the Steinbergs have only two daughters. So maybe he's their son-in-law. And if he's their son-in-law, which daughter did he marry? And he says, I remember that Esther married a businessman from Zitomer, but the other one, Sarah, married a lice lawyer from Budapest, which means, if I remember correctly, his name is Alexander Cohen. But if he came from Budapest, where there's a lot of anti-Semitism, he's probably changed his name. And he was thinking, what's the Hungarian equivalent of Cohen? Kovacs. And if they allowed him to change his name, he must have a certain status because they wouldn't allow an ordinary Jew to change his name. He must have a doctorate from the university. At this point, the Talmud scholar turns to the young man and says, excuse me, do you mind if I open the window, Dr. Kovacs? The very startled co-passenger young man says, not at all, but how on earth did you know my name? Ah, replied the Talmud scholar, it was obvious. Wishing you and your families Chag Purim Sameach. We should celebrate the rescue of our people then and so many more times throughout our history, and enjoy in good health and in happiness. Chag Sameach.